over 1 million riders support themselves and their families. I'm sure this is true, and all of you agree with me on this. And you've also seen from the new entries in the automotive industry, people like teachers, people from different fraternities have actually been joining the industry. We continue to remind policymakers that this industry was among the hardest hit during the 2020 and 2021 lockdown. Unfortunately, we are one of the industries that never received any form of support from government, but still continue to be under this. Their families are still recovering from the blow to their savings and earnings. Whether we are speaking of the 400,000 riders in Kampala, well, when we're speaking of the 400,000 riders in the evening are often after 7 p.m. During this time, Boda is a key transport service that helps people get home from work, go shopping, visit hospitals, and support the nighttime economy. Two, unlocking the night economy without allowing Boda's to add all businesses and the economy at large. From boardrooms in Matatu coverage is so limited in terms of last mile delivery. You guys know that there is no way people will be able to get home using matatus. Like literally, the matatu will drop you and you need to go through the corridors. Most of us live in the ghettos. People need to be able to go home. So there is no available transport option for people to be able to get to their doorstep. Is the Boda that takes you up your door, wait for you to open the gate, or wait for you to open your house, and then you leave. Therefore, the directive to stop Bodas after 7 p.m. will subject millions of Ugandans to unsafe travel to their homes. Bodas enable millions of Ugandans per day to reach the door of women, the elderly, disabled. We therefore call upon the government to remember Omuntu Wawansi, Omwavu. In its policy deliberations, it is practical. It is impractical, both in Kampala and upcountry, to expect privately owned cars, matatus, or walking to fill the evening gap, the evening border gap, allowing everyone besides borders and those who need them to move around is regressive and punishes million income Ugandans. I kind of feel like sometimes some of these policymakers don't understand what is actually happening to the ground. And I don't know if they expect some of you people to walk back home or to walk all those distance after work, because even you as people in the media, I think you face the same. We'll find out later, but I'm sure all of you face 1% of the Ugandans who own cars is among them, and that's true. But I'm very sure that the population it's clear that the cars that we own in Kampala are very few, and most of us need the public means. And the easiest way, because matatus drop you at the stage, and for you to get off from the stage to the home, you definitely need the service on the border. So there's no way we can say we have opened the economy without borders being allowed to work past 7 p.m. And this is also putting the lives of our staff, our members, our sisters, our brothers at risk as well. Responsible borders enhance security. As a member of the Trade Association, we take exceptional attention to the issue of ensuring safety for both our riders and customers. All our companies compile robust KYC records of our riders, which allow for easy trackability and visibility of all their activities. We would like to remind the government, and in particular the security sector, that we have had a history of positive collaboration in cases of investigations in the past. We therefore call upon the government to put this point in consideration and raise our companies to work with no limitation. We remain willing actors to help the government, and in particular the security sector, to help government and in particular the security sector digitize the border industry or the border sector, as you may want to say. Therefore, given the support that thousands of Ugandans have expressed through signing the petition that we launch online, we would like to inform the public and the entire border industry that we will not let your voices go unheard. Our next stop is the Parliament of Uganda, where we will present our petition and we hope that our issues will be heard and curfew will be removed immediately. I think that was the presser, and it's official statement from the members of the trade. But I just want to share with you something before the members can comment. I just want to say this, and it's something that I've always said many times, that the bodybuilding industry, literally just speaking about the bodybuilding industry, we've been now in lockdown for around 22 months. Government has had a number of initiatives to support the different sectors. You guys have heard of different sectors that have been supported by government under different initiatives. But the border is one of the unlucky ones that never received any form of support. But rather we say suppressed from government. We received a lot of punishment from government for the reason that still stands to be explained. When the lockdown was initiated, you guys are aware that borders were only allowed to operate up to 2 p.m. and we were only not even allowed to carry passengers, but we were only allowed to carry luggage. The country was in total lockdown, and we actually, and the members of the industry helped in making sure that people, or Ugandans who were in total lockdown, could receive food, could receive medicine, and every other essential item that they actually needed. From that, we were then released to work up to 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And now recently, the president, I think, gifted us another 1 hour to 7 p.m. Through that time, the people of Uganda made a lot of support to government. People donated money, people donated items and stuff like that. And you had a number of initiatives that government put in place to support people in the different sectors. We consider ourselves as Abantu Bawansi, and we expect that even through this initiative, government would have supported that. We raise our voice that our people they actually been starving. So we even lost some of the drivers because of anger, because we even didn't receive the portion and beans that were supposed to be given to Abantu Bawansi. Besides that, there was also money that was supposed to be given to the population. We people know Chetezanabanya. The first person to be called was time to be a borderman. But we are here in Kampala, but the borderman in Gulu was able to receive the money, and the borderman here in Chema was not able to receive the money. Up to today, we have not been able to receive any form of support from government. Bordermen have got families. On average, the borderman has around 5 people that benefit from that one border that continues to ride. You have rent to take care of. You have school fees. Now, children of other people have gone back to school. Our children are completely not back in school because we cannot afford it. Loans, motorbike loans, our bikes are being taken away from us because we cannot compensate and we cannot pay for those loans and we cannot service those loans anymore. These people are so frustrated. And I really think if they have committed any crime, it's good for government to tell us. If they are not Ugandans, it's good for us to be told. But any law that is discriminating in nature is unacceptable, is unfair, and we have all the right to be able to speak about it. So I think everyone has talked about this. Members of the E-Trade, different associations, members of the border community have spoken about this. I really think if this government believes in young people, if this government believes in collaboration, if this government believes in every other person being able to contribute to the betterment of the economy, the border curfew must be lifted and with the immediate effect. Thank you, guys. I then call upon my to make the submission and their comments.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Like I did introduce myself earlier, my name is Charles Mabusha. I work as manager of corporate affairs and communication. Together with the member of the E-Trade Association, and like you know, I also do some of that media. We, as the E-Trade Association, 1.4 million Ugandans who derive their livelihood from Ricky already talked about the other members of their family that they support. And the big question is, how do you open the night economy and leave out the means that are supposed to deliver the people participating in that economy to their homes? You want to be enforcing, for example, and most people will use the border to get to their home safely. You need to put that into consideration. We've been willing, as an association and as a company together, to work with government and support it, especially on security, because in most cases, border are victims of crime than they are perpetrators of crime. You know about stories of people, border has been carried and lynched by criminals who take away their motor. And if criminals, it doesn't make border as a trade of crime. I think that's the point that security people are missing. Criminals use all sorts of gadgets. They use mobile phones, they use cars, they use motorcycles. Those are not border. I think that needs to be clarified. We were happy that the president commented about he was acting on the advice and the statement prepared for him by the technical committee. We assume that was in reference to COVID-19, but the big question is, isn't it ridiculous that borders and other people can mix and mingle during the day? Buses can carry 64 to 70 people. Omnibus taxis can carry anything between 14 to 20 people, and they don't spread COVID. But borders carrying an individual, one person, after 7 o'clock, somehow find the way to spread COVID. I think that's something that needs to be looked into. And then lastly from me is that border registration, and as Ricky read in the statement, we follow a robust know your customer. Keeping borders locked, they constitute 99% of, on the economic ladder, who Paul Collier calls the bottom billion. Ugandans, only 1% of Ugandans own cars. Less than 1% of Ugandans own cars. So how do we expect the rest of us to move? You colleagues in the media, the border is our vehicle of choice when we lock out of the new route, isn't it? It's the first thing. It's what we can afford. It's what takes us to our places safely. And I believe that each one of us has their border guide. And you need that border guide to be earning something for themselves, but also to be able to be free to deliver you safely without the risk of security trying to
Good morning. My name is Ron Kaumata. I'm CEO at Jumia. And as part of the E-Trade, we're here to re-emphasize on the need to lift the border curfew that continues to affect not just the borders themselves, but every sector of the economy. The E-Trade includes sectors like the restaurants, includes the hotel restaurants, whose workers need to go home after 7 with borders. You cannot reopen the bars, or the hotels, or the supermarkets, whose workers need to go home after work after 7 with borders. We know very well that the need to resuscitate our economy cannot function at 100% if the workers cannot go home after 7 using borders. First, borders go where taxis cannot reach. We all know that taxis do not reach at the last door, to your doorstep. So workers rely on borders to go home safely. We understand the security concerns, and we want government to work with borders to make sure there's a proper way to track, to verify who's drivers. The members of the E-Trade Association already have a mechanism to verify who the borders are. They already have a mechanism to track them. So today, almost 200,000 borders have full identification, are able to be tracked. And we're saying if the E-Trade is able to track and verify their drivers, we are happy to give the same technology to the government to be able to track and verify the drivers. So there's no reason to keep this border country to their homes. They will be attacked, they will be mobbed, thugs will take advantage. This affects everybody, whether you're a woman walking from a taxi stage, the disabled, all the workers will be affected. So we're creating a new issue out of the current issue. Then all these hundreds of thousands of young people who drive borders. Now, if borders will turn to crime. So we're creating a new issue of borders now who are not able to work, or they're working only half a day, who now will result to crime. So we urge government to deal with the issue of security in a systematic way, to work with the border associations, to work with the E-Trade, and we're ready to give them the technology and the tools. Border is, you can know what they are, who they are, and what they're doing. And this technology is available. The E-Trade can assist the government. We've already proposed it to the government that we're able to support on this journey. Then the issue of the economy itself. We know very well that Uganda has a very high unemployment. And we're saying now there's people who have been contributing to their families. I read a story recently that in Uganda, one one motorcycle supports 2 families many times. You have an individual who drives the border during the day, then hands it over to the individual who drives it at night. So you find 2 families are benefiting from this. The impact on the economy is massive. Then the people who use borders, who are these people? They are doctors who are working on night shift. They are nurses who are working on night shift. They are cleaners, janitors. There are people in offices, journalists, people, all of us. And now we're students. And now we're saying, if you don't have a car, you cannot work at night. It is discrimination for those who don't have cars, and discrimination for areas where taxis don't reach. So we're saying, let's not open the economy while discriminating against those Ugandans who rely on borders to move at night, on the sectors relying on borders to work, on the young men and women who drive these motorcycles and their families. We cannot cut your right hand to save your left hand. We cannot use the guise of security to leave out an entire sector of Ugandans. Security is an important issue, but we must address it systematically to communicate. Should we then ban phones because criminals use them? We know very well that motorcycles, criminals use masquerade as borders, but they're not borders. They masquerade as borders. So how do we weed them out? The number one group of Ugandans who hate the criminals who masquerade as borders are the border people themselves. So we need to support the border community, weed out the criminals who masquerade as border drivers. And how do we do that? Let's do a proper registration. Let's have a proper tracking tool. Let's make sure all the stages are registered properly, and work with companies who already are doing this. Companies to get there and say, Boda and others already track their drivers. They know who they are at all times. So let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's use existing technology that the E-Trade is offering to government. Let's make sure that all those borders are known. But we cannot kill off an entire sector that moves 99% of Ugandans. You've had the statistic, only 1% of Ugandans have cars. And most areas don't have taxis. So it's inevitable. What we've done at the moment is we've created criminals. Because at 7 p.m., after 7 p.m., anybody driving a border, anybody riding a border has become a criminal. So we're saying that, I'm sorry, if you need a border after 7, you have to break the law. You go out there after 7 p.m. and you see Ugandans and borders, all those have become criminals. We've criminalized an entire country. We've criminalized the Ugandans who need this service. Because if you take a border after 7, you're breaking the law. If you're riding a motorcycle after 7, you're breaking the law, whether it's for personal use or it's border use. So right now you can argue that 99% of Ugandans who are riding motorcycles or going on motorcycles at 7, they are criminals. And it's a bad place to be. these Ugandans are not criminals. There's a small minority that needs to be dealt with, and we can do this together collectively with government, with police, with the private sector, with the border communities, and we create a safe environment to continue to work, to continue to move, to thrive, and to succeed in the bad years of COVID-19. So I'm ready, the E-Trade is ready to work with government to safely open the rest of the economy that has been left shut. Thanks. Yes, Uganda.
Kubaka online.
The details in the page, just highlight. Oluvannyuma lw'okubaga emikolo gyonna online. Tubuulire ne wali nti gavumenti yabasapootinga ng'ababodaboda abasobola babasapootinga tubuulire waliwo walikyokonyeko nga abakoli mabodaboda temuyonsawo aba gavumenti egamba nti muyonsawo mazza ebabuulire naye
Gentlemen and ladies, as we sort of Uganda, I'd like to encourage you as individuals. One, sign the petition, but two, to also spread it so that other people can sign the petition. I think we're closing in 15,000 signatures, and we'll be there soon because this is what concerns us. I sit here proudly because I know I also rely on my brother to move around. So it's not just about the riders, it's also about us, the users. Okay.
All right. Balamusiza mwena amanya n'ebyobwozi the director wa Boda ate mumpulira akiddemu badde ngamba mbalamusiza mwena amanya n'ebyobwozi bananesiga mimi mzigo nyoso
Mahadi ya
okay because now this is a very technical language. You guys need to read that. Okay. Mbamisa mwena amanya n'eddoboozi ez'ebiki Rapper Thompson, lead director wa Boda, ate ni member wa Trade Associations. Weeks bbiri mewedde mabega twatandika okunganya emikono geva eri bannayuganda okulaba obutole mu mati aba members ba Trade Associations ndala zonna ezeegase wamu ne ababuzi abakolera mu industry eya boda okuba nti tusobola okukwita eddoboozi lyaffe eri gavumenti ne abakola amateeka okubalaga biki ne effect. No, let's start this afresh.
It's okay.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Okubalaga obutali bumativu bwaffe eri curfew gye badde bagitaddeko ku boda industry. Okuva COVID bwe yajja mu 2023 boda bagiteekamu okufakkirizo ate nga gwabaddewo nga gwa njawulo nnyo okusinga n'ey'abalala. Ogerezeko ti okusooka nga boda batukiriza okugivuga olw'okutuusa ssaawa 8 gokka bagamba nti bw'osuusa ssaawa 8 ogenda okuba nti oteeka obulamu bw'abantu abalala nga tebamukkiriza no ebiseera ebyo nga tebatukkiriza okuba nti tusaabaza tutwala abantu baffe. Now twakola emirimu y'amaanyi ffe nga abavuzi ba boda ne bamembers ba Trade okulaba nti bannayuganda babadde mu lockdown twabatuusako obuweereza okuba nti bafuna buli kimu kibeetaaga teekamu ogezako ng'emmere okuva mu kataalisi ez'enjawulo eddagala n'ebintu ebirala byonna byabadde babyetaaga. Gavumenti yavaayo ne liftinga lockdown n'ejjako curfew ne liftinga lockdown eri abantu abalala bonna n'ekkiriza taxi okuba nti esabaza abantu okutuuka ssaawa 3 okuyisa mu bufunze okutuuka ssaawa 3 ez'ekiro naye nga boda ne bateekawo nti tusobola kusabaza abantu tuvuga omuntu omu naye ekirala kiri nti tukoma ssaawa 12. Ezo zonna badde bagiwa excuse ti tugenda okutambuza oba okuteeka obulamu bw'abantu at risk. Ezo zonna argument tubadde tugigoberera nga ng'olabira ddala nti mulimu ekirala kiri nti gavumenti yateekamu enkola y'amaanyi okulaba nti eyambamu abantu kubanga bannayuganda bakuŋŋanya buli kimu kyonna kye balina ojjako ssente mamotoka emmere ng'ebijanjalo akawunga omuceere amata n'amazzi buli kimu ne bakitwalira gavumenti etandika okuba nti etuusa ebintu bino ku bantu naye ekyatwewuunyisa ffe abantu ba wansi ffe abanaka bali mu boda industry ezo kawunga tezatuuka twakabira gavumenti naye okukaba kwaffe bakiisamu okukaba kwaffe bakiwulira naye tebakisamu bwe twavako ekyo gavumenti eteekawo program endala kuba teyamba bannayuganda buwulira sitori za ssente z'anabanja ffe nga bali mu boda industry ezo zonna tetwasobola kukola ogifuna. Yes, mbadde njagala okubalaga gye tuvudde ne olusosoze ebibaddewo mu industry eno n'amateeka gye bakola nga tebiyamba omuvuzi tebiyamba munnayuganda n'ezigenda giraga nti neerabeka waliwo embeera gye baagala okuteekako ku boda industry. Boda erimu abavubuka bangi ddala abasukka mu kakadde abakoleramu. Abavubuka bano balina families, balina abakyala, balina abakadde baabwe abatakyalina amaanyi be bateekera okuba nti babalabirira, balina ne abaana be bateekera okuba nti babasomesa. Bw'ojjako ekyo ababoda kubanga ngaffe tubalinako partnership, tulina partnership ez'enjawulo gye twalese gye bali okulaba gye batuusako obuyambi. Ababoda bafuna loan eza ssente okuba nti batwala abaana baabwe ku ssomero, bafuna loan okuba nti bazimba mayumba, bafuna loan okuba nti bafuna bakola ne piki gye bakozesa okuba nti baweereza bannayuganda. Ebyo byonna ziraga nti omuvuzi wa boda ali muntu angali responsible ate alina obwetaavu. Naye eno embeera zonna gye tubaddemu tetulina stimulus fund zonna gye tufunye mu gavumenti ate zino embeera nawo ziweza emyezi 22 nga babodaboda bali mu lockdown. Tulabira ddala ti income y'abavubuka bano yakendeddemu ddala omuntu abadde asobola kufuna 3,000 5,000 ku lunaku ali kufuna gumu kitundu 2,000. Eno kantu gye tuliko oba eno eggwanga gye tuliko abavubuka be basiga namba 85% bavubuka. Ate bw'ogenda ogyetegereza employment opportunities abavubuka bano baba employinga luddawa abasooka namba esingawo eri mu byobulimi, namba ettako second biggest employer boda industry. It accounts for close to 15% eya Uganda's national GDP. So tulabira nti boda eyina kyamaanyi nnyo kyekola okukwati eyamba ggwanga. Naye tetutategeera lwaki gavumenti ayagala nnyo okunyigiriza omuntu wa wansi, lwaki gavumenti ayagala nnyo okunyigiriza omuvubuka ayina amaanyi ate ng'ayagala okuweereza eggwanga lye, lwaki gavumenti ayagala okunyigiriza oli ayinako kyakola ate ayinako kyafuna, lwaki gavumenti ayagala okunyigiriza abavubuka abaasoma balina zi degree, balina zi diplomas, balina ne zi masters, tebalina emirimu, bayifunira emirimu mu bodaboda ate ayagala okubafuna bwavu. So tusaba kiri tulabira nti ero action gavumenti ekoze esookerawo tebituyamba okulakulana. Ekyokubiri tebitwa opportunity okuba ti naffe tubaako nekyetukola eri enkulakulana eggwanga lyaffe, kubanga mwattu tetulina gye tulaga, tuzaalidde mu Uganda, tukulidde mu Uganda, eno yeggwanga lyaffe. Mulaba abavubuka bangi nnyo batuuka mu ggwanga ne bagenda mu nsi ez'Abarabu kuba ti banoonya gye bakola, naye stories mugenda mugiwulira. Abantu bano bonna banoonya kyakukola. Abavubuka bangi abagraduates abasomye okuva mu different universities, mumanyi mikwano gyammwe, baganda bammwe, basista bammwe abavudde mu university bamyala emyaka 2 myaka 3 tebalina emirimu ez'okukola. Kakati bana balinako kye bakola ate nga balinamu bye bafuna, lwaki gavumenti ayagala okubanyigiriza? Tuwulidde excuses, ensonga ti gavumenti egamba oba ensonga za security. President Museveni yayogedde recently n'agamba tuba obuzibu obulese bodaboda mu lockdown oba obujalese bodaboda mu nsonga za curfew engenda gikolako, lwaki teyanguwa n'egikolako? Kubanga kati tulabira nti si bodaboda yekka yanyigirizibwa, naye ne mala ba companies abamembers baffe abakozesa bodaboda bana abantu abalala abatalina mu bodaboda ba media, bana batunda emmere, bana bakola abatunda engoye, abakola businesses ey'enjawulo bonna bali affected. Abamabbaala mumanyi ebigule bibeeramu mu Kampala, mugiraba ebigule bibadde bibeeramu mu kibuga, temulaba bo bodaboda ekiro. So batufudde bamenyi b'amateeka ku lwaki? Kubanga bwe bagamba nti kati tusobola okutambula mu bodaboda okubasaamu, kitegeeza omuntu yenna ng'atambula ku bodaboda oba avuga oba agituddemu aba akikola ki? Aba amenya amateeka. Naye manya nti tewali engeri omuntu yenna asobola okuba nti atambula paka ku mulyango obudde bw'ekiro nga tewaliwo bodaboda. Kampala ng'engeri gye badisayinize, mulimu zi ghettos, mulimu embeera za wansi, ezo nnyumba 23 gye tubeeramu tewaliwo olugulu lunene ti takisi ejyanda kutwala paka ku mulyango. Routes ze tubeeramu kikyangu okuba nti obeera wano Kyebando n'ofuna takisi ng'esobola kukuleeta paka mu Kyebando bw'okola ki? Bw'obeera bakusula wali ku Gayaza Road, oteekwa okutambula ziri olugero lwonna kuba tetuuka wano. So tulabira ddala nti eno idea gavumenti gyereza okuba nti eteeka bodaboda ku curfew ejja kuba nti enyigiriza ate ejja kuba nga eyongerayo abamenyi b'amateeka okuba nti bakola ebyabwe, ate kikiri nti obe etulemesa ffe ng'abavubuka okuba nti tuweereza ggwanga lyaffe. So ebyo byonna nga twegasse wamu nga e-trade, of course petition Abannayuganda batuwagidde ne bagisayinga baalaga obutali bumativu bwabwe. So tuwerekedde eri parliament okulaba nti tubawa petition officially n'okubalaga n'okubanyonnyola ensonga zaffe obutali mafivu waffe gwe juba n'okunyigiriza gye tufunye n'obususuze bwe tufunye ng'abantu abali mu bodaboda industry. So tusubira nti mu bbanga etali wajawala nnyo ojja kuba nga tubategeeza outcome ya engagement ezo, naye tusubira nti gavumenti eno ewuliza abantu ate ewulira abantu abeegase ate ewuliza abantu abasobola okutuula wamu ne banyonnyola ensonga zaabwe. Tusubira nti mu bbanga etali wawala nnyo kubanga eno ekintu Bannayuganda bonna bataddemu amaanyi bakyogedde, tusubira ati mubanga ensala yawala nnyo nga tetunaba kugenda maaso kati tonaba kuddamu bayita gavumenti ejja kubanga ng'emaze okugulawo eggwanga bayinza n'okugulawo ku Friday temumanyi bayinza kugulawo na leero kubanga bakawulire nti bana Uganda basayiniza petition bayinza okuba nti bagulawo ne nga weekend tenagwa so tusubira wamu nti eno eggwanga kubanga lyaffe kubanga gyetubeera ate kubanga tulyagala bajja kubanga batubuliza ate okusaba kwe bajja kubanga bakikolako mu budde obwamangu ddala kubanga industry sector si zonna ziri affected kubanga bino biba bya bulimba okugamba nti twaguddewo eggwanga ate nga boda ng'etambula munnamawulire etambula ow'emmere etambula